All right. Hi, everybody. I am Kompal Pandey, and I am an art psychotherapist right now. But during the pandemic, I was not that. I managed to finish 2 masters in psychology. I graduated last year from my second master's in psychology, which was in art therapy. So, my story starts from the need to contain my grief. I was actually processing grief from multiple sources. And what was happening back then was that I met a therapist who was a bad therapist. And as a therapist, I am slowly realizing that there are a lot of that type of experiences where people are having, the therapists are having to undo a lot of work that bad therapists have done. That is not the story, but the story is that through this whole need of grief having to be contained and having to take care of my mental health, I was already doing journaling, and my journaling practice suddenly started to evolve during that time, and there were comic art that was showing up in my journaling. My regular journaling of filling just pages and pages converted to bullet journaling and combined with comic art. So I eventually did start meeting really good therapists, creative arts therapists, drama therapists, and they were doing parts work, and I did not understand what parts work was. So parts work was created by Dr. Richard Schwartz, and he created the internal family systems therapy model. So today in my presentation, I'm going to be focusing just on that and editing out the other parts of my research paper. So Dr. Richard Schwartz created parts work wherein he talks about how we have a family in life, and whether it is your biological family or your found family. Just like that, we have a system of internal family system where we have several parts within us. Just to briefly help you understand, when we are wanting to eat healthy, there is a part of us which is like, I'm going to start eating healthy now from tomorrow onwards. But then there is another part of us which is like, but can we snack a little? So, this is how I'm like helping you identify that there are parts within us. But what Dr. Richard Schwartz talks about and how I started to understand parts work, I'm going to go through that during the presentation. So like I was telling you, my therapist was using parts work. I did not understand that because I was not a therapist till then. And what I understood was that, okay, I'm dyslexic, and my therapist is asking me to visualize something through talk therapy, and I am not able to understand what she's saying because I have always wanted visuals for me to be able to understand things. So while she was sharing this and I was going through my journey of becoming a therapist, I slowly started to understand that my self-care tool has a potential in being somewhat of a complete toolkit. So the question arose that if this worked for me, would it work for somebody else? So I took a sample of therapists because they already know so many therapeutic models and such, so they could really throw proper light on whether or not I am onto something or it is just something which specifically works for me or for neurodivergent people only. So I started off with sitting with my grief back in 2020. So this is how I have depicted my grief, and towards the end you all are welcome to come and explore this art with touch. And while processing all of that, there would be conversations that would start between two parts of me. So like here it is like, hi Gopal, life's so hard. The other one is like, hi, other Kopal. Yes, it is so damn hard. Then the first one says, let's make life less hard. And this one says, yes, let's make a plan. So the bullet journal contained this portion where I would put the big picture, like long-term goals that I like really want to work on. And the other one was today's picture. So basically trying to help me get through the day, be functional, and also work on this, all of this that I did not have access to, and I just did not know what I was putting my hand inside of, and so that's why I needed therapy, and because of bad therapist, I had to study psychology, and also really trying to understand what this is all about. So earlier I was an entertainer. I used to host live events. And also as a hobby, I started going for stand-up comedy, and I began observing human behavior, and that's how I got interested in psychology. I don't want you guys to think that because she had a bad therapist, she was like, I am going to be a good one now. It was not that. It was because of being in spaces where I would entertain audiences, getting really interested in human behavior. So here I am. I created this whole research study to basically look up, to basically explore the question that does cartoon yourself have the potential of using parts work in a visual comic art form, what Dr. Richard Schwartz was talking about, and does it have a potential to be a complete self-care toolkit? And why do I feel it is complete? Because it merges with one of my favorite topics, which is neuroscience and mindfulness. And here I was trying to meditate. This is the good part of my meditation journey. That's why it has got like nice things on it. But before that, I hated meditation. I think people were weird to be able to do meditation because it was giving me panic attacks. And I was like, no, this is not for me. But then I also got time and again got the same suggestion from therapists that yes, there is quite great value in it. And after studying neuroscience and mindfulness, I was understanding that what I have been doing can in fact be called meditation. So I would use certain sounds to sit through just focusing on those sounds, welcoming the distracting thoughts and putting them on a pause, bringing it back to the bird sounds or ocean sounds or any other sounds, because I am like as much as I am sensitive to sounds and I hate certain sounds, I love certain sounds a lot. So I was able to, what they say in neuroscience, that I was able to pause my default mode network, which is when we generally tend to think about the future or the past, but we are hardly able to come to the here and now, which is what mindfulness talks about. So this is that picture, guys. I finally did it somewhere around 2021 or 2022 beginning. I was able to pause thought and access that practice of pausing the default mode network again and again to be able to clear the murky waters of the mind and settle it a little so that I can access what all lies beneath the grief. So all this was not accessible. It was just like some cave that I was getting into and I didn't want to get into. So this helped with that, and due to repetitions, like I would literally write this every day, making a note of, let's talk about only meditation. So like I'll put a tick that I did meditate, and then the next day, yes, I did meditate, yes, I did meditate. So with enough repetition, neuroplasticity was occurring, and I was easily able to slip into meditation, and those feelings of anxiety were long gone. And of course, there was more that was wanting to come out from inside of me, started to have conversations with me with different cartoon versions of me. So when I designed the research, I got to study a lot about how different parts work. Like Dr. Richard Schwartz says that there aren't any bad parts, and they're only the parts which need to blend together. So there you have your protector parts and your wounded parts. The protector parts are like, no, Kopal, we are not going to let you access your wounded parts, because that's not going to keep you functional. You're going to have meltdowns and such. And the wounded parts are like, please let me come out and play. I want you to listen to me. There's something that happened which I've been holding. And the protective parts are like, no, she has to get up and go to work. You tell your story later. We are not even going to let her know that you exist. So we are going to put a blindfold on her. So this is what protective parts do. But through parts work and therapy, what can happen is that you are able to have a conversation with the protective parts that it's okay. We have these ways with which we can let you relax. You can trust that the pain is not going to make this person dysfunctional. So let them come out. And also you share why you have so much rigidity to protect. So when my parts started to have a conversation, I started to see that that was happening with my clients as well, that I was able to prime them to do the parts work. In talk therapy, they were just having conversationally like, is there a part which can show you a little compassion? Is there any part within you? Let's say a client is going through a lot of self-hate, and they're like, no, there is no part of me which I accept, that this is absolutely unacceptable behavior from my side. I do not deserve blah, blah, blah. So the therapist would say, is there a part within you which can show compassion to any one part of you? So all that I saw was happening right here, and I came up with the idea when I saw that, hey, Kopal, you are already doing something like this in your cartoon yourself. So I thought that why not bring out those parts for my clients and create characters out of that, and people can have that conversation with the part which is like, I am so hateable, and the other part which is like, okay, you hate yourself, but I do understand, I have something comforting to say to you. So here is how I structured my research. I took up 8 participants, and the questions that I was trying to figure out was, is parts work possible, inner child work possible through this very tool? Would it help other populations apart from just me? And how much of a potential does it have for it to be a complete self-care toolkit, because it includes movement, mindfulness, and comic art as well. And that whole thing of the repetition aspect of it, creating enough repetitions to create neuroplasticity for new behaviors and patterns to form and old behaviors to simmer down. And it creates a log. So like you see, March 2020. So I have 5 years of, 5th year starting, 5 years of logs of what my parts have been talking and how I overcame, or it's fun to go back to, oh, I've had this challenge before, let me flip back and see what was happening then. So my participants were invited for a one-on-one online session, and I started them off with accessing their inner world with a guided meditation, and from there we went into me asking them this question, that these days, is there any aspect in your life where you feel that you need to be really listened to, just like the way you provide a listening space for others? And mind you, these are all therapists, so when I asked them, are you a good listener, most of them said yes only. Like, I guess only one person said, no, I suck as a listener. But she said that when I'm on duty as a therapist, I listen really well, but otherwise I feel I suck as a listener. So yeah, kudos for her, to be honest. So I said that, is there any part of you that needs the similar listening space as you have been wanting in this current aspect? So I wanted them to think of that aspect, and I guided them into this inner world of theirs, visualizing the environment of that inner world, letting them stay there, and of course breath work was happening to keep them in the here and now. And from there I said, identify yourself, that part that really wants listening to, and identify a part which will give you that listening. So they created a 4-paneled cartoon strip. Over here you just see one panel, but I had them they bring an A4 size sheet. I asked them to fold it. So one panel came here, second came here, third came here, and fourth on the back side. So they, the first participant created themselves and a part of them which showed up as their childhood part, and participant A was struggling with loneliness and procrastination, and they concluded that they figured out why they were procrastinating, and they were able to access their inner trustable voice, which they had stopped listening to completely. So she said that she would be using the Cartoon Yourself tool with the prompt with children with ADHD above 8 years of age, and she wanted to use Cartoon Yourself more and more, because she said that there is such great potential for inner child work to happen, because just with that one prompt, suddenly a part of her which was her child self showed up in her Cartoon Yourself panel. And I asked her, would you be using this as a ritual? I told her everything that I have told you, how the whole ritual is. So she said that she would need reminders from me, so she did not continue it as a ritual, but she uses it with her clients. Participant B visualized a very fairy-esque inner world, and she brought out a character named Jenna, which was herself, and Wings, who would provide the listening space. So she said that she got to process a recent episode where she had an argument with her friend. She had already apologized, but it did not feel settled. So she was able to resolve that within herself, that you have apologized, it's okay, you don't need to dig more into that. And she is going to be using Cartoon Yourself. She said that she's going to be using Cartoon Yourself daily, and she has managed to use it at least once a week, not daily. And she still sends me her CY entries. And yeah, she is using it with children in the neurodevelopmental department, and yeah, there are so many ways in which I learned how the participants are using it in a new way. So in conclusion, there were 8 participants in total who have been 5 of them have been using it with their clients, and 3 of them have continued on to make it their daily ritual. And I did get an understanding from their feedback that it does have a potential to prime people to do parts work. Individuals who are therapists who do talk therapy, they can completely use it as a priming tool to begin parts work and maintain a journal like this for them to access their clients' ongoing conversation to get even more in-depth knowledge. And with this here, I have depicted how more than 300 people have now done cartoon yourself introductory session, and so many of my clients have been using it. In my community of therapists have been using it. So this is like a varied understanding of what cartoon yourself can do as a self-care toolkit, and how many people have sort of developed an interpersonal relationship with themselves, found parts within themselves to have a community of their own inside and outside of themselves. Thank you so much for listening. And you all are free to come and explore the textures of the art that I've created. I keep giving these workshops from time to time, and you can definitely reach out to me to receive a session like that. And my Instagram page is Spectra Therapy Space, or you can go to Kompal Spectra, where you can read more about it. And of course, I did not bring in all the comic art therapy related things that have already been going on. So yeah, Kompal Spectra is my handle, so you can reach out to me there. All right. Thank you. Thank you.